Greetings to all beings. Ashe, Assalamu alaikum, Shalom. Today, I would like to speak about piety and holy people. A lot of people are under the impression that they are pious people, holy people, spiritual people. A lot of people have a misconception of the requirements and the measurement of the scale on which it takes to be a good person or a pious person or a religious person, holy person, which are essentially different things. A pious person is someone who obliges strictly to the religion. Some people are under the impression that if you go to church every day and you know the Bible front to back and you're able to, off the top of your head, quote scripture, and you're able to relate scripture to every situation in life, that you are a holy person, a pious person, a good person. They're under the impression that if you memorize all of the Quranic surahs, verses, that they are holy people. They're under the impression that if you know the Hebrew teachings like the back of your hand, that you are a holy person. But you have these instances, these situations when certain individuals go about their day unaware of how they are treating other people, unaware of how they are in violation of other people's mental, emotional, and personal space. Sometimes carrying yourself a certain kind of way it's difficult for one. It's difficult for the individual to to see how they are actually carrying themselves. It's like it's. I'll give you an example. When I went to college, that's what my intelligent friends like to refer it to, especially when we're in the presence of people who might pass judgment on you and cast a spell upon you because of your past. When I was in college, I began to study a lot and exercise. Incidentally, I surrounded myself with semi like minded individuals. So I would surround myself with older individuals who were into the same things that I were. I would surround myself with individuals who like to exercise like I do. And what ended up happening was after a time, after a period of time, my body began to become physically fit. I was in shape. I was in shape. I got bigger. I got stronger. But I'm inside of my body. I'm not on the outside of my body, so I'm not able to recognize the progress. I'm not able to actually see the fruits of my labor as well as the people who I surrounded myself with. And they would say things like, "Hey man, you're getting big. You're this, you're that. You look cocky. You look very strong. Like, man, you on top of things. You on the ball, right?" The same way with the people I studied with. We had what they would call a cipher. It was me, an individual who said he was a Muslim, and he was extremely knowledgeable about everything Masonic, everything that had anything to do with the secret society or the Masonic order. He was extremely knowledgeable on these things. There was another gentleman uh, from the FOI, which is followers of Islam or fruit of Islam, which is basically the same. Forgive me if I misquote that, but which is basically the same thing. There was another individual who was from Africa. I cannot remember exactly what part of Africa because we know Africa is it's a vast area. It's a lot of area, right? And it was more before, and it was definitely not called Africa. That is like complete. That's like blasphemy. That is so. It's so foul for us to refer to that place by that name. But that's another. That's another video. That's a movie. That's an entire movie. But Kemet, or Kemet. But he had no religion, or his words. He did not oblige by specific religion, but he followed a school of thought, a lifestyle, if you will, which is essentially because it's essentially the same thing. However, he that was his position. That was his take on it. He did not belong to an organized religion. He belonged to a school of thought And he had a way of life, a specific way of life that he followed. A specific way of life that he followed. And me, myself, I am a born Muslim, son of a Sufi. Both of my parents are Sufis, which I may not be supposed to even disclose. Some of these things I still am not clear on. I will not get into any further detail about which school of Sufism that they follow. However, that is just a background of who I am. And I would study with these guys. And what we would do is we would go to the library in college and we would get specific books about specific topics that we wanted to speak about. Debate, if you will. Throw ideas at one another and respond to one another's ideas. That's what we did. It's like a cipher, right? And I spent quite a bit of time with these guys. It was actually my first time in college. And it was actually one of the more enjoyable experiences that I have had while away at college. And I learned a lot in that college. More than I did at the University of Cincinnati, main campus. And what eventually ended up happening is my level of understanding, my level of awareness, it started to transform. Unbeknownst to me, because I'm not paying attention to that. I'm not paying attention to me per se. I'm just going to the cipher and I'm siphoning information. I am using my sense of discernment to determine what I wanted to hold on to and keep and what I wanted to let go of. There's a lot of information. What I tend to do is I let my spirit tell me. My spirit talks to me. My spirit speaks to me. And so I let my spirit determine if this is something that we should keep or not. If this is something that we should keep or not. And I do mean we. Meaning me and me. And me. And me. And what ended up happening is my level of awareness began to transform. It began to change. It began to broaden. My level of understanding began to strengthen. Unbeknownst to me. It's the natural order of evolution. It's the natural order. That's the way it works. And so a lot of times we perceive ourselves to be a certain kind of way, and others perceive us to be a certain kind of way. When you